The disconnect is everybody thinks that they can have everybody, and then when they finally meet that somebody they want, they don't trust it because they never were actually doing the work to go out there and study. Dating is boot camp. You're supposed to go learn. You're supposed to ask questions. You're supposed to figure these things out before meeting your partner. If you don't meet your partner before going and exploring and dating and you meet them during that level of learning, understand that you're still learning and there's a lot out there that you might not experience, but it's okay if you only need it from one person. Just know that you're ready and you respect what that person is on their journey. If you don't want that, don't commit to someone who wants to only be with one person. Find people who like to be with multiple energies until they decide they want to be with one or multiple. But understand that what you do with your energy as a single person calls in the type of energy that comes into your life for a partner. This is why people love using that saying, right person, wrong time. I don't believe in that. It was the right time. We were both just not ready. I don't blame it on the time. The person was not right. We weren't right. The time was perfect. If we were aligned, when people say we just looked across the room, and in that moment I knew everybody I was talking to had to go. I started telling them right then and there, I don't want to talk to you no more. I know who I want. Mentally, you don't actually have to do that, but start preparing yourself. And then if you get to know that person or introduce yourself to get to know that person, that's when you'll decide, okay, yeah, I'm going to start clearing space. But don't do it too soon. I do tell people, do not clear out people you've been talking to too soon if you're not ready to commit. Because at the end of the day, we all have a roster, but we all know that that roster, they ain't it. That's why we're not dating them seriously. That's not why we're not with them in a long-term relationship, because they're not it. If you are on someone's roster, you're filling and holding space for the trophy. So, when you know that someone's like, oh, I can pull them, I can pull them, I can pull them, that means nothing to me. Are you respectful with their energy? Are you responsible with their energy? Do you respect their energy, right? Because there are people who have multiple partners and they know how to do it eloquently without messy texts and people calling too late and running into exes in public. I always tell people this: if you run into an ex in public, the best way to let them know you're over them, especially if you're hanging out with somebody else, is introduce that person first. This is my new friend, blah, blah, blah. It was good to see you. And you walk away. If y'all want to have a conversation, have that conversation later. That is not the time and place to make you stand there with the new person and the old person just gets to do whatever they want like they still belong to you, right? That's why I tell people, when you have a bunch of side chicks and dudes and this and that, and you start putting yourself in situationships, those are the ones who ain't gonna let you go because they're gonna get mad like, why did they not pick me? Why did they not choose me? And that's where the inner work has to come in, where I say, if you loved yourself enough to know before you walked into that relationship, you would know why they didn't choose you. And I know that's not going to be easy for a lot of people to swallow, but it's the truth. You got to know what you walking into first, right? For me, myself, and I, people are like, why are you single, Juwan? Why are you single? Because I choose to wait until I'm with the person who's going to match everything. I have done enough boot camp and trials and run and errors to know that this ain't gonna work just dating anybody because I go pick them off an app like I'm picking off a menu. For some people it works if you're at that state of being, right? Everyone has a reason to use whatever modes they need to get to meet people. I choose to wait because I know that it's better for me to meet someone in person than on an app, right? So that's why I said I'm not good at keeping lists. I'm not good at dating multiple people. I don't like doing it. But I also know realistically, I can't put all my eggs in one basket either. So that's the talking phase. Talk to people. Actually talk to them. Get to know them. Don't just set up dates and never talk and then go hook up and think that's it. No. I know somebody said that before, like, oh, just, save some things to talk about on the date. No, baby, you're getting the full rundown beforehand. You can tell me whatever you want. But by that time, you gave me enough intel that I can figure out who you are. So when we do go on that date, if the actions match the words, then we're good. But the last thing I want to do is collect a bunch of people, be talking to them. They're giving me energy, but I don't know who they are and what they're capable of, right? And then you go meet them out in person, and people do some heinous things when they're mad, jealous, upset, and hurt. So I would rather not put myself in those situationships and do that to somebody who doesn't deserve it, right? Because by doing so, you're letting that person be free. You're allowing that person to then go out into the universe and call in the energy that they deserve. This is why I say, if you start feeling yourself feeling like you're on somebody's roster, let them know, like, listen, I get to know people this way. And you don't have to put pressure on people. I say when there's resistance, it's not right for you. If you feel resistance, it's not right. If there's flow, go with it until you learn. Again, if your flow leads you to disaster, that means you need to learn boundaries. If your resistance never allows you to experience, then you might have to open up a few doors or let a few people in to understand what you desire and require from the universe. Because the universe likes to use energy to make cocktails of what they think you like. That's why when you're dating somebody and out of nowhere, somebody from the past come back, you're like, why are they reminding me of the past? Well, you said before you was after you broke up with your last friend, you was talking about how that person was so good to you, and if even though this person didn't match what you wanted, if they could just be somebody just like that. So the universe is like, okay, cool, I'm gonna bring you that same energy back and see what you do with it. And then people are like, it reminds me of my ex. I don't want them back. So now you just pushed a good person away. So the universe is like, well, what do you want? And then you're like, well, make me a brand new person from scratch. So then it does that. And it presents it to you. And it's everything you ever wanted. And guess what? People self-sabotage it because they don't think it's real. They would rather have a gaggle and a flock of people around them, hyping them up, than trusting that one person was prepared for them specifically by the universe. Again, one person does not mean one human being. It's one person as far as energy, right? There's energy that can be in many different avatars, which is why you have to understand what type of energy do you want. So like if you only want guys who like to play around and make you feel good momentarily, then that's the energy you're going to call in many different avatar forms. If you know that you want marriage and things that have more stability, but you want somebody who's also healthy and have done the trauma work before entering a marriage, then yes, you're going to have to do a little bit more work up front to make sure that that person is what you desire, as well as for yourself. Because again, just assuming that because you have multiple people who want to date this person does not mean that person is eligible. I do not like that term, eligible bachelor. Just because everyone's turned on by something and wants someone does not mean that that person has the ability or capability or know-how to sustain a relationship or partnerships. Again, I'm never going to chase someone for what they look like they can offer. I'm going to get to know the person for what they're presenting that they can offer. And if it aligns with what I want, then that's who I'm going to go with. I'm not going to sit around and just be holding people hostage like, you know what, let's just talk for about a week, then we go on a date. And then let's go another week and not talk and then just keep making, listen, I'm grown. I am 39 years old. If I want you, I'm gonna let you know I want you. If I wanna talk to you, I'm gonna talk to you. I don't need to talk to you all day. If you let me know that's not what you want, but if I'm into you and you're saying it's fine, we're gonna do that. Of course you're gonna have to learn boundaries. Of course you have to understand the difference between limerence. I'm talking to my highly elevated, to the ones who aren't highly elevated, so that you know where you exist, right? Knowing what you desire is not about quantity. It's about quality. We've always said that. You can have quantity. There's nothing wrong with it. But show that you're able to manage it. Because there's a lot of F-boys and F-girls out there who don't know how to manage it. And then you get these situationships where they out here being messy and everybody's like, well, I thought they liked me and they told me this. And all of those emotions can be true, but they're not represented that energetically, so the energy's not going to call that in for them. And then that person's going to be like, well, I just keep these people around because I don't want to feel like I'll ever be alone. Okay, well, that's ego. So if you only have these people around to fill your ego, then that's a choice. Don't be mad when you meet somebody who's ready and you ain't ready, right? It's not the wrong person, wrong time. It was right time, wrong person. Because every time I tell people, when you meet that right energy, you will meet it and you'll know. I have not met mine yet, and I'm letting people know that. I've met people who energetically we got along, but I knew instantly they weren't the one. When I meet the one, I ain't letting them go. I have dated people in the past where I'm just like, okay, you know what? They're a good dude. They're a good person. Let me try to get to know them. And then it turns into like, okay, this is lovely, la 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 la. But then eventually we both get bored with each other because there was never a real interest. Attraction and interest are not the same. I can be attracted to you, but not interested in you, right? I want to be interested in you. So take the time to get to know yourself so that when you start dating and getting to know other people, you know that you're interested in them as well as attracted to them, and not just attracted to them because you're knowing that they're attracted to you, and that gives you interest of what you think dating and love is about. Learn yourself, okay? I hope that makes sense. Love you.